Alright, watched a video posted on Christmas Eve by Martin Willett called Hate Labels. He starts out by asking, how is it that certain minorities get to decide the labels that get attached to them, and they get to use whatever hate labels they like? Well, minority groups can self-identify, Martin. Why shouldn't people get to decide? People will self-identify. That doesn't stop you from calling them whatever you deem appropriate, does it? Apparently, it's rude now to call homosexuals homosexuals. I must have missed that memo. Black people object to being called Negroes or black, you say. Yeah, okay. Some object, some don't. Martin says it's not up to freaks and perverts to give normal people a label. Come on, Martin. If you're inclined to label folks as perverts or freaks, then surely it's fair game to let minority weirdos label normal, upstanding non-perverts like your good self. Come on. Humans will pigeonhole each other, won't we? We love to label the other, oftentimes not too flatteringly. Mr. Willett objects to being called a Gentile, objects to being called straight, and you object to being called an unbeliever, right, Martin? Alright, okay, you object. What do you want your audience to do with this, Martin? So you're normal. You object to certain minority labels which you deem to be hate labels, and you say and repeat that they don't have the right to label you. You, Mr. Majority, Mr. Normal. It's not just offensive names people don't have the right to come up with, it's silly names as well, so says Mr. Willett. Then he lists the things that he isn't before saying, how come men who pretend to be women get to choose what everyone gets to call them? I assume he's talking about transgender people. Well, again, people self-identify, but that doesn't mean they get to decide what everyone gets to call them, as Martin Willett puts it. Transgender people come in for a lot of hateful, sometimes violent treatment. So anyway, Martin says he's not a racist. He doesn't embrace the identity. Honestly, I've only ever watched 3 Martin Willett videos before. I don't know for sure if he is a racist or not. I don't know. I'm sure various people have got opinions on that. So Martin objects to being called a racist. I'd object too if people were calling me a racist, but they're not. If people were calling me a racist though, it might give me some pause for thought. It might make me consider some of my past statements. It might make me sit up a bit if a number of individuals were accusing me of racism. If I got to the point where I was considering making a video like this one that you uploaded here, Mr. Willett, this one I'm addressing, then I'd be quite concerned. This is hypothetically speaking, of course. I wouldn't make a video like the one you made. Objecting to being libelled and slandered is perfectly reasonable behaviour, to quote Mr. Willett. So, you're the victim of defamation, are you, Martin? I've worked in the catering industry for over a decade, so myself, I'm used to harmful false statements. They're sort of par for the course. And people have given me plenty of shit on the internet. Yeah. Would it be somewhat insensitive of me to suggest that perhaps, Mr. Willett, you should grow some thicker skin? Would that be insensitive? Or maybe you should just adopt a new attitude along the lines of, I'm not going to allow these shrill leftists to get to me in the future. I'm comfortable in my own views. I'm not a racist or a bigot, in spite of what some might say. And that's all there is to it. Yeah, that sort of attitude, something like that. I was looking in the comments section of this video, and I see, Martin, I see Mr. Willett, that you have some less than flattering things to say about the Jews. And you employ terms like deviant minority. Just from watching only a handful of your videos, listening to your tone of voice, I'm not finding it difficult to see how you might have rubbed more than a few people the wrong way. Yeah, I'm not going to bother watching any more of Mr. Willett's efforts. Based on what I've seen and heard, I think watching any more of this channel would be a recipe for a headache. With that being said, I'll bid you good day, folks, and I'll catch you later. Peace.